Hey guys, this is Anthony with Tackle.com. Last Chance Bait Tackle here in Hemet, California. Really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. With this Periscope, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to kind of go through some products, some baits, some different styles of stuff that we have and that we carry that most of you guys might not know. More or less based on the saltwater side of the shop. Day in, day out, we got freshwater guys, we got everybody coming through the shop. They don't know that we carry saltwater. They think because we're here in Hemet, out in the middle of nowhere, we're not close to the ocean. We're about an hour away. We get a lot of traffic coming in, day out, that want to be able to fish the bays, the piers, the harbors, or go offshore. We run saltwater trips too, which I'll show you towards the end of this Periscope, how to get on these trips, how to go about finding them, that type of stuff. So tonight we're just going to be more or less a heads up on different products that we carry for saltwater, just in case you want to either go out and try it, or you're an average fisherman that goes out all the time and just needs to restock on his gear. Most guys that come in, us freshwater guys, let's elaborate this, a lot of freshwater guys are intimidated by going in the salt. They think they got to buy all kinds of new gear, all kinds of new rods, new this, new that, new this, which you very well can, all depending on the trip that you decide to go on. The average guy, if he wants to go out in the bay, let's just say Oceanside, Dana Point, something like that, if he wants to go rock hop the harbor, you can very well use your same basket. And here in the shop, we carry a lot of war-based heads, which are big lead jig heads. Absolutely awesome. Anywhere you're going to go that sells saltwater gear, you're going to see the name Warbase. It's all over the internet. This company is huge. Warbase jig heads, and they go 3/8, half ounce, 3/4, 1 ounce, all the way up to big 10-aught hooks, running the 1 ounce burnt heads for the bigger swim baits, the big MCs, the 9-inch, 10-inch style stuff. Have all different sorts of heads, bladed heads, for those guys that don't want to go through all those trailers. They're still stuck in that bay.
Sorry. Matt mentioned the audio was off, so I'm seeing if... I don't know if it matters on my end.
Does it matter?
Oh, he's saying perfect now.
Everybody can hear us? We're good?
Sounds like it. Or looks like it.
I was memeing the whole thing. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Bay guys. The guys that want to come in, that want to catch some spotted bay bass, want to catch some calicos, do that type of stuff. Like I was showing you, we have all different varieties and sizes and colors and everything as far as war baits heads goes. Oranges, browns, stuff like that. There again, like I always say, match the hatch. Right now in the bay, mouths of the harbors, all that type of stuff, we're dealing with red crab like it's going out of style. Tuna crab, pelagic crab, that type of stuff. More of your oranges, your browns, stuff like that. So if you're going to go into it, war baits heads. Say you want to go out there and you don't want to spend that much money, you don't really know what you want to do. Lead masters, premium jig heads, all that type of stuff. You get the same look, you get the same eyes and everything else. Granted, they're not weedless, but it gets you out there catching fish. Another company we carries a wide variety of colors and styles for your heads and for your baits. Just like I said, match the hatch with red crab. Me personally, I would go with more like a red style head, more of a war baits. You can go lead masters. I like war baits because they're weedless. We carry Phoenix jig heads. We carry a wide variety of styles. I mean, we have 2 whole racks dedicated to jig heads and all those styles. For this, if you're going bay fishing, we carry big hammer swim baits. Granted, this is the 5-inch. This is the Senorita color. Absolutely phenomenal. We carry 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch. I think we have up to 7-inch right now. We're looking at starting to carry the 9-inch. We're going to start bringing in the Viejos, more MC swim baits, more MC weedless style swim baits. Even the little 2-inch big hammers, we're really looking at carrying them. Same with that. I mean, thing that for saltwater that not too many people know about, Yamamoto makes saltwater swim baits. Salted, awesome color. Kind of looks like one of those orange sherbet ice cream bars. Absolutely awesome color. Could be red crab, could be a wide variety of things. It's just another style of bait that we have here in the shop that your average customer is not going to know that we carry. The average guy's not going to know that we carry saltwater plastics. Night fishing, day fishing, it doesn't matter. You go with the phantom color for night fishing. You go with crusty crab for during the day, something with an orange belly, stuff like that. So we do carry wide variety. If you don't want to go out there and throw swim baits on the bottom, freshwater techniques, something that a lot of guys can wrap their head around, saltwater flukes, little jerk shads, stuff like that. Drop shot these guys in the bay. All of our freshwater techniques work phenomenal in the salt. Big worms, 9-inch big worms, oxblood by Upton's. Texas rig those guys along the docks. Fish the docks like you normally would. Fish the rocks like we normally would. Burn crankbaits, spinnerbaits. There's all kinds of companies that have spinnerbaits and crankbaits that'll go down there. Bomber is a great choice for crankbaits. Super durable, paint job's awesome. Same with the Norman DD22s. All these freshwater baits that your average guy's not going to think about, throw it in the salt. Go have fun. Go catch a bunch of just local fish, calicos, sculpin. Expand your horizon. We live here in SoCal. Granted, a lot of our viewers might not be from SoCal, but if you got any salty fishing that you can do, any of these style techniques are going to go out there and just flat out catch fish. Granted, this is more in the bay, can be outside the bay. What we have jetty walls, which we call break walls. Big rocky points, big rocky jetty walls that can be up to a couple miles long. A lot of these fish hide in it. That's where those weedless head comes into play. All that type of stuff. Just like you'd be fishing a dam for freshwater. Throw out a swim jig. Let it sink down to the bottom. Granted, now we're, instead of messing with 20 to 30 feet, we're messing with 90 to 70 foot drops. Big tapering shelves and stuff like that. That's why we go a little bit bigger heads. A lot of this stuff, we carry a tremendous amount of it in the shop. A wide variety of colors and sizes in the jerk shads. New penny colors, camo colors, phenomenal baits. They have a bait that they call a gulp sandworm. 6-inch sandworm, camo color. One of my favorite, absolute favorite baits for the bay. Catches just about anything. I used to float tube the bays quite a bit. Did little float tube tournaments and everything else. I got second place in my first spotted bay bass float tube tournament, drop shotting those little sandworms. Everybody else was talking crap, because they're all salty guys, saying, oh, you got a dropper loop, this and that, this and that. Keep some freshwater side of it. Expand your horizons and your baits and all that stuff, and try to go a little bit more salty. For the guys that decide to fish the pier, these will necessarily work. We get a lot of bait guys that come in that want to fish off the pier that don't have their fishing licenses and stuff like that. By all means, absolutely phenomenal. For those guys that don't want to go out there and they don't want to buy frozen bait or cut bait or anything else, we have all kinds of rigs called like sabiki rigs. These are meant to get made bait. That's all you're going to do with these things is make bait. On the piers, on your boats, on your kayak, in your float tube, anything like that. This is one long rig that's already tied up. All you have to do is tie your main line to this swivel and put a weight onto that clip. You pull this whole rig out of the bag. It's 6 feet long. 5 arms come shooting off of it. All these little baits come hanging, dangling off there, that type of stuff. Quick, easy way to make bait and to catch fish. If you got a bunch of little kids, ones that don't really know how to cast, reel, do any of that, drop this on your line, tie it up, drop it off the side of the pier, drop it off the side of your boat next to some kelp patties, stuff like that. Just have them sit there and shake it. You're going to be amazed. Sardines, mackerel, all that type of stuff. Last time I went on the pier, I saw an Asian gentleman fishing one of these rigs. 99% of us put a weight on the end of this guy right here. This guy was out there. He was using a 3/4 ounce Castmaster. What he was doing is he was using this for his weight. And he was pinching that on instead of the weight. So now, when he's dropping this thing down, it looks like this bait fish is messing with these guys right here. He was catching bigger mackerel and sculpin and all that type of stuff on this guy, thinking this bait was chasing these. So not only are you making bait and having fun, you can catch barracuda, you can catch sculpin and some legal fish on this. Just a different technique, a different style, different variety of baits we carry here in the shop. With sabikis, I think we have 20 different packages of these guys. Every different shape, size you could ever think of. Even for freshwater shad. Granted, you can only use 3 hooks for freshwater, and from what I've been told, you're not legally allowed to catch the shad in the mouth and reuse them. So you got to net them and that type of stuff. But you can use them for bluegill, you can use them for that type of stuff, just for the little kids to go out and have fun. So remember, bay bass, we carry all kinds of boot tail, soft plastics, all that type of stuff, warbait heads, leadmaster heads, phoenix jig heads, everything else. And by all means, these will still work for freshwater. You don't necessarily have to use these in salt. That's the whole cool thing about fishing, is we have a whole shop dedicated to what people think is freshwater, but a lot of these baits are used in saltwater. Really, really, really good results, really, really good techniques and everything else. Not to say anything bad, But we freshwater guys have the upper hand on saltwater when it comes to this style of fishing. Everything we want to do in the salt, we've already done 10 times in the fresh. Crankbaits, spinnerbaits, jerkbaits, umbrella rigs, bottom bouncing jigs, football head jigs. I mean, whatever you want to do transfers over into the salt. Keep that in mind. We carry a wide variety of stuff. If you want any questions, feel free to give us a call. Matt fishes the salt a bunch. That guy is a stud. Same with Megan, the one filming right now. She fishes offshore all the time. Definitely knows her knots, knows her baits, knows her hook setups, her rod setups, and everything else. So by all means, we're not just a freshwater shop. If you guys feel froggy and want to go out and enjoy the salt, or you do enjoy the salt and need to restock up, by all means, keep this in mind. We carry a lot of gear. Granted, what I'm showing you right here is more of our local stuff that we're going to be using 90% of the time in our bays, in our harbors, outside the break wall, up to about 2 miles out type stuff. Messing with kelp patties, fishing calicos, and everything else. But that being said, with our SoCal weather and water and what it's doing, we're seeing 200-pound plus bluefin jumping off local shores, 12 miles out. 9-mile bank reports are just tearing off. 302, all that type of stuff, tearing off right now. So for those guys that want to come in, I would say at least 10 to 12 customers a day come in wanting giant poppers, wanting 150-pound mono, wanting the biggest, baddest baits you can ever get a hold of, all these crimps, all these knots, all this stuff, but they have no idea how to tie it, no idea how to rig it, no idea even really what a popper looks like. You got any questions like that, cruise in. Pretty much what these guys are talking about. Granted, we can't keep these bigger ones in stock. Everybody's botting up our bigger ones. But what you don't hear is the smaller sashimi and the 3D poppers. Everybody's forgetting these little guys. They're not throwing them, whether they're not getting a distance or they don't have confidence in them. These little sashimi poppers, especially with the yellowfin showing around, I've been hearing a lot of reports. These big yellowfin aren't liking the big poppers. The smaller ones are getting the job done. These little guys right here, last year I had an amazing bite on Dorado. Just tore them up. Yellowfin, Dorado, bonita, skipjack, all of technically our local stuff, what we're used to catching, 30, 40-pound type stuff, up to 50-pound type stuff. These things are phenomenal. Granted, with these big bluefin, it's kind of a freak situation. I got guys coming in with SX reels that want 80-pound braid to 100-pound top shot. Guys are freaking out because they don't have the gear. This is something that's not going to be happening for too long. Granted, it's here now, so get out there while you can. If you got trolling setups, try to use your trolling setups for these bigger fish. Don't go out there undergunned. But another good thing too, like I said, all this we carry in the shop. One thing that's been super hard to get the last couple years, Shimano flat falls. These little guys right here are phenomenal. Just came back off a 2-day trip out to Collinet. We loaded up on yellowtail, had a chance at bluefin. The only bluefins that hit the deck of the boat were on flat falls and Colt snipers. It was just pure chaos. These fish are just creaming on anchovies right now. Firm believer of match the hatch. Anchovy patterns, blacks, silvers, chromes, anything this small profile, anything like these little guys. 60, 80-pound mono, 100-pound mono if you can get away with it. These guys, that's if you're seeing the big bluefin. Granted, a lot of our local guys, Newport, that type of stuff, we're still hammering yellowtail. By all means, these work phenomenal for yellowtail. Phenomenal for rockfish. I was catching whitefish, catching redfish, catching sculpin, all on these little guys right here. Drop into the bottom, as soon as it's bottom, 2 or 3 cranks up, let it sit there, kind of pop it every now and then, you're feeling them smack it. Couple quick, easy, cool baits that not too many people are giving the time of day. It was something more popular a little bit while ago until the whole popper bite came along and all that stuff. So just to give you a heads up, we have 100 gram, 130, all the way up to 260 gram in flat falls. I think we have 7 different colors that we carry them in as well. Same with Colt snipers. I think we have 40 gram all the way to 100 gram. Same thing, 7 different colors, bunch of different hooks that you can replace them. If you don't like these smaller hooks, we carry sidewash hooks, which are just single shaft, burly hooks with an open ring. So what that does is you take that split ring off, you take that open ring, go through that solid ring on the bait, and you crimp it down with a pair of crimping pliers. Now you have one single hook. That is one single penetration that's going to be locked in this fish's mouth. Cool little technique, a cool little trick you can do with these. kind of makes it turn into like a flat fall, except you're not running the 2 stinger hooks, and you don't have a split ring that's all hanging up in the way. Another little style, I'm just going to keep throwing out product, just keep throwing out baits, throwing out little stuff like that, just to give you guys a heads up on when you come in, what to look for and what to keep your eye open out. Even though we don't have the big poppers, I'm hearing a lot of reports on the orcas. These are more of your burn and skip on the surface style baits. They're not going to really pop, they're not going to really chug, they don't have anything on the mouth to get them to chug. But as far as scooting across the water, making it look like a school of scared bait fish, these things are phenomenal. I've been seeing multiple pictures with guys with fish over 100 pounds on these things right now, and they're keeping it quiet. Granted, I'm sure guys that are watching are probably saying, oh, I'm throwing those, I'm throwing those, I'm throwing those. This is just a little heads up for the guys that aren't really keen in on this stuff, that only think they're eating big poppers. These fish aren't only crushing on the big stuff. You can go out there with Colt snipers, flat falls, live bait, anything like that, anything to imitate a small chovy, a small bait. This stuff is going to work absolutely awesome. Granted, I'm a huge fan of that aluminum foil, pretty much just flash pattern, because it imitates just a ball of bait. It's something that they don't really know, it's just more flashy on the surface. Absolutely awesome baits. Small size orca, full size orca, 60, 80 pound line. A lot of guys like running crimps. Me personally, I'm not a fan of crimps. I don't like doing them too much. I rather tie knots or double up my mono to these baits for chafe resistance, because these fish do have teeth. They are going to swallow this bait. That's the cool thing about these big poppers and stuff these guys are throwing. These fish are inhaling these baits so far in the back of their throat that they're bleeding themselves out in the middle of the fight. That's how come a lot of these guys are getting them on 10-foot sticks and this little bit lighter gear with like 15, 60-pound mono. These fish are bleeding themselves out. Granted, these are phenomenal anglers that are going out catching them. These aren't just your average Joes landing these fish. You have to know what you're doing. But when you stack the odds up in your favor, go with something that's going to stick in the back of their throat, something that's going to be a little bit easier on you. This is pretty much killing the fish halfway through the fight. Granted, you get him on a flat fall and Colt sniper, you're getting every bit of that fish. Every bit of muscle. There's no way he's bleeding out any of that stuff, so the fight's going to be a little bit longer. But what's wrong with a long fight? We're all in it to catch fish. We're all in it for that tug. That's pretty much what we're in it for, minus the picture guys and all that stuff. We're all in it to take pictures as well. We like showing pictures. It happens. But we're in it for the tug. We're in it for the fight. So by all means, fish what makes you comfy. Go out there if you have the bigger setups. Try the bigger orcas. Try the sashimi poppers, the 3D poppers, and all that type of stuff. Working really, really good. You don't necessarily have to go with the bigger stuff. And if you do like crimping and you do like doing that, we have 150-pound Andy spools, 50-yard spools, 100-pound spools. We have all the Mason crimps. We have 7-strand crimps. We have all steel leader. We have mono in bulk up to, I think, 200 pound. So if you guys need leader, we can spool you off chunks of leader line and everything else. And as well with that, we tie top shots. We do leaders. We do hollow connections for hollow braid. We do wind-on leaders. We do a lot of top shots. I think the other day, what did we average? 5,000 yards or more in line that we spooled up yards in a couple hours. So, I mean, we can do a lot more than your average shop can comprehend. We're not just fresh. We dabble a lot in saltwater. Like I was saying earlier, we also charter trips out of Seaforth on the Pride. Here in the next couple minutes, I'll give you guys a trip list. I'll show you on the internet how you can go on our site, how you can look up these trips and everything else. Absolutely awesome. Limited load. Megan, Matt, or I go on the trips. We help deckhand, we help tie knots, gaff, all that type of stuff. We're there to help you catch fish just as much as have fun. Phenomenal trips. A lot of our customers go. So it's not just your random person that you see on the side of the street. A lot of cool people go on these trips. Very respectable captain, very respectable crew. Love the boat. It's called the Pride out of Seaforth. You can go ahead and look those guys up. Greg Gowett, I think that's how you say his name, Gowett, owns the boat. Him and his brother run it and everything else. Phenomenal crew, phenomenal captain. Last year I had just a blast with the Dorado. Yellowfin, everything else. Megan got some bluefin. I think she got them up to 60 pounds, all that type of stuff. So this style of fishing is something that we're accustomed to. This isn't just on a whim to where we're just like, oh, we can kind of recommend something. We go out there and we do it. We fish fresh just as much as we fish salt. We might not show it or promote it as much, just because we are freshwater guys, largemouth guys. That's what we love. That's what we eat, breathe, and sleep. It's Diamond Valley Lake, Paris Lake, our local freshwater stuff. But there's something about saltwater that tickles my fancy that has got me freaking out right now, that all I want to do is throw surface irons, throw poppers, throw bigger swim baits or calicos, yellowtail, all that type of stuff. I am freaking out right now. So this was kind of one of those periscopes where not just showing you customers, just I was excited about talking about it. Just because I'm getting so pumped on the saltwater scene. Everything about it is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. So there, got that a little bit out of the way. By me talking about tying top shots, carry all kinds of fluorocarbon. I'm a big fan of the pink seaguar. 2 years ago, we had a bunch of customers coming in saying that the only thing the bluefin were eating was pink seaguar, pink fluorocarbon, which I'll be straight with you. Fluorocarbon is important in certain times. Matt, the other gentleman that works here, and he has proved it to me, and he has showed it to me as well, he is a mono fisherman. That guy will start off as heavy as you can go. He'll go 40 or 50 pound mono, and that's how he fishes his live bait. He doesn't necessarily believe in fluorocarbon. But there is those times, like freshwater fishing. We can go out there with mono, we can go out there with braid and everything else, but when these fish want to be picky, I'm a firm believer in having it and not needing it and not having it. Because you go on the trip, granted this guy is 16 bucks. You go on a trip, you don't have fluorocarbon, you know how much this spool turns into? $30 to $40 for this spool if you don't got it. It sucks, but that's what happens when the bite does what it does. So by all means, we carry all the way up to 80 pound blackwater. Granted, this is 60. I think we're at 80. You guys are hitting us hard with all kinds of fluorocarbon and everything because the bite's doing what it's doing. We can get those, I think, what, 100?
I ordered eyes or 80 and 100 pound fluoro today, I believe.
Perfect. So, I mean, we have 100 pound fluorocarbon, all that good stuff. Like I was showing you, we have Andes for the leader spools if you guys want to do that. I honestly don't think the difference between 150 pound mono and 150 pound fluorocarbon is going to make a difference on the popper minus the cost in the line. That's just personal opinion. If you're going straight braid to a small chunk of fluorocarbon, I'd rather go mono, get a little bit more stretch just in case. And these are big fish. I personally, I would run as heavy as line as I can, as heavy as mono as I can, that I'm comfy with casting with. Just because I'm even hearing guys break off a 100 pound, 150 pound line. It is happening. It is what's going on. It does suck, but it's what we all go through. We're fishermen. We have to get humbled. A lot of these fish are being caught on the poppers and everything else, but we also do carry a lot of troll stuff for those guys that want to be the private boaters. They want to go around looking for the local yellowtail, local yellowfin when they start popping up and stuff like that. Granted, these things were extremely hard to get just because last year the wahoo bite was insane. Yozori completely remade their marauders and all that type of stuff. They added a textured back to it now. It's still wire through harness, still solid rings or solid swivels on the hooks and everything else. Phenomenal baits for trolling. We carry the big rapalas, big magnum rapalas, everything down to little hoochie skirts. I mean, everything down to the small stuff. This is a shop where, like I keep saying, a lot of people think we're fresh. But we carry such a wide variety of saltwater gear. It's incredible. I love it. I love the fact that we can just be dedicated to one thing, but yet still have a whole side of the shop that opens up people's eyes to starting and want to do something else. I mean, me, I'm a freshwater guy. I love my swim baits. Love my swim baits. If I had my choice, even though I hear a lot of people talk crap on them, I'd throw it all day long. Granted, I'm not your guy that has the whole pinky up status thing where I have to throw 10-inch baits all day, every day. I'm a firm believer in matching the hatch. I'll throw a 4-inch bait. I'll throw a 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch swim bait, stuff like that. Transferring over to salt for your freshwater swim bait guys, the surface iron is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It is a saltwater swim bait. It does everything I would ever want to do in the fresh and just has fish 4 to 5 times the size of what you could ever catch in fresh eating it. We carry tatty. We carry salis. We carry JRI. I think we have some... We don't have any more of the... It is just salis and tatty,
yeah.
JRI.
Yeah.
And then these we just brought in, JRIs, Jerry jigs, JRI, however you want to call them. Phenomenal jigs, phenomenal surface irons. Everything about them is great. And in later periscopes, if you guys want, like I said, this is kind of scratching the surface. We kind of wanted to get more of your guys' opinion on what you'd want us to talk about as far as saltwater goes, if you want more of the bay bass side of it for your local guys that want to float tube, kayak, that type of stuff, or if you guys want to know more about surface irons, how to pick them out, what's the difference, what's the key things to look for, how to throw them, what's the right gear, the rods, the reel, the line, all that good stuff. I mean, light surface irons, heavy 7Xs, more that 45-degree mid-water column iron type stuff, more red crab colors. I mean, there's such a wide variety of irons from different sizes, Caddy A1s, I mean, Christie 9s, so many different sizes to match anything. If you guys want any videos on how to rig any of these baits, what approach do you do when you see a ball of bait fish? How do you fish them? Because for the longest time, all I was ever told with surface iron is throw it out and reel it as fast as you can across the surface. Until you go out and actually fish with these guys that know how to throw the surface iron, it is foreign as all heck until you actually visually see how they fish these irons. It's just like a guy throwing a HUD. Your average guy's going to throw it out there and that HUD's going to be tracking like this. It's not going to look right because he's burning it. He's not slow cadencing this bait the way it's supposed to be swim. And if you don't have somebody showing you or giving you a heads up, you're never going to know. You're going to go out there and be like, irons are stupid. I can throw irons all day long and I'm never going to catch anything. You might not be doing it right, or you might not have an iron that's swimming right. That's the crazy thing about these irons. I have a whole selection of Taddy 45s. Not one 45 is the same. Every single 45 is different. Whether it's a rounded nose, a flat nose, different offset hips, how sharp the edges are, different offset eyes. I mean, everything about them is different. So like I said, if you guys want to know these little ins and outs and these key little things, just give us a heads up. You guys want more techniques on pier fishing, more techniques on bay fishing, more techniques for your offshore guy, your private boat guy, that type of stuff, by all means, please hit us up. We want any questions, any information, any thoughts you guys have. That's how we expand and how we grow as a business. We're a little mom and pop shop. We're not your big style shop, even though a lot of people, I'd say 90% of the people that haven't been here or come in, freak out because what we carry and the amount of stuff that we carry. So please, give us a call, ask us questions, pick our brain. That's how we grow and we become better anglers to help you guys become better anglers.
Matt wants you to talk about your yellowtail on the 77.
Ooh. I got a Taddy 77, and it was my first legit trip on what I call pinky up style fishing, where it's the high class of the high class, where there's no bait, no nothing. You have one rod, one iron, and you're going out and you're fishing. And I've never seen anybody throw an iron until I went out with Matt, the other gentleman that works here, that actually knew how to throw the irons. And once I started seeing how he fished it, I freaked out. I even got a Taddy tattooed on my thumb. I was freaking out. That's all I want to do now is throw surface irons and everything else. Watching that guy was just incredible. We go out there. I just wrapped a custom stick. Matt just wrapped himself a custom stick, so we're giggling about that. Throw out there. I hooked my first yellowtail. I should say legit yellowtail, because I don't know if Mark's watching. He's helped me catch a lot of little net ties and everything else. This is my first legit yellowtail. Thing kicked my ass. It totally blew me away. Absolutely awesome fight. That's what's got me hooked. That's why I wanted to get on this Periscope. We ended up going back-to-back on 30-pounders. He got it on the 7X. I got it on a Taddy 77. Freaking out. That's all we wanted to do. That guy's a stud on his boat. I think he's got one up to 50 pounds. I've seen the 30s that he's got. I mean, this style of fishing has just freaking me out. I absolutely love it. Love talking about it. Love seeing it, doing it, everything. It's one of those, until you get out there and fish it, until you get out there, you're not going to really know your style. So please come in or call us, especially Matt, stuff like that. Pick our brains on the styles and approaches that we like to do and how we came about doing our baits before you go out there and just figure out that you don't like it at all. Because I see it with freshwater too. Same with swim bait guys. If you're not going out there and you're not shown how to do it, you're not shown where and everything else, and kind of heads up, and you want to be that guy that's going to be like, nope, I'm going to learn it all on my own. Granted, absolutely awesome. Major kudos to you for going out and doing it yourself. Everybody needs a little help. That's why we have tackle shops. That's what we do here. We help anglers become better anglers, or people to become anglers. So it's one of those. Got any questions, any tips, any comments, anything, please tune in. Ask us questions. Let us know what you guys want to see as far as the saltwater goes, because we want to start bringing in more saltwater videos and everything else. Maybe even saltwater fly fishing stuff if I can get Mike Sutherland and all these fly core guys out trolling for yellowtail with the fly core. That would be insane. And I know nobody's out there doing that. You imagine getting a 30-pound yellowtail on a fly core setup with lead core line out there stripping a fly. Incredible. Incredible. That being said, we're scratching all the surfaces. I kind of want to give you guys a heads up too. Phoenix was absolutely awesome. This falls in line with all the saltwater gear. Phoenix was absolutely awesome to custom wrap our shop a bunch of saltwater sticks. We have everything from 7 foot to 7.6 to 8 foot. Granted, these are all light bait sticks, 20 to 40 pound. I have a 7 foot that's a 25 to 50 pound. Light bait sticks, but still can handle Colt snipers, still can handle flat falls, still can handle smaller poppers and stuff like that. It's not a broomstick by any means. This is your local SoCal fishing stick, 3/4 day, half day, overnight to 2-day type stuff. This is something that I would fish with an Avid. We carry a bunch of Avids. We carry a bunch of Daiwas, Shimanos, Talicas for Shimanos, Trinidads, Daiwa. We got Saltis, Seagate, Avids. We have everything from SX to HX to the EX, I believe, or the EXO. I think that's what it is. It's a big reel. It's a big reel. But if you were to pair this up, say a little MXJ, which I absolutely love. I have an MXJ with 50-pound braid all the way to the top, small top shot of 30 or 40 pound on it. That is what we normally need for our season. We can go on these boats with 2 rods, have an iron stick and a stick like this, maybe a heavy yo-yo, so 3. So 3 sticks total is all you would need for your trips. I see all these guys packing just enormous bags and all this gear and all this stuff, and granted, I did it. Matt talked all kinds of crap on me for doing it. If you watch what Matt takes on the boats with you, he'll have, and this is no exaggeration, I don't even know if he'll have a change of clothes, but he'll have a couple little packs of hooks, maybe like 6 or 7 irons, and 2 or 3 rods. That is it. And that guy will rope the boat, rope it. And he's got bare bones, basic, nothing. But what he does have, he has confidence in it. That's why we're here talking to you guys now, trying to get you guys confidence to where you can go out and do that. You don't have to bring a reel bag to carry 17 reels. You don't have to have rod stocks and rod bands to carry 17 rods and have 24 different irons and 75 different poppers and all this and that. And all you need is a pack of 1/0 or 2/0 hooks, maybe a pack of 5/0 just in case, keep it in your back pocket, iron, stuff like that. By all means, it is nice to have all that gear on the boat, because I am a firm believer. It is nice to have it, do not need it, need it, do not have it. But the more you start doing this, the more you start getting into it, the more your gear starts dwindling down. You start getting confidence and realize that you can go about and just start catching all these fish on really small amounts of gear, just the right gear.
No, I don't think my thumb's on the speaker, but I'm moving my hands.
Your
Is it
finger's
better?
on the speaker. It's on the speaker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
One is.
The right hand? Well, crap.
There you go.
Okay, hopefully
right.
better.
All right. And I got to talk to you guys about our charter trip. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take you over to our computer, and I'm going to show you on Tackle.com how to go about looking for these trips and our charter trips on our site. All of them.
Now hand on the speaker. It's amazing I've done that the first time. Now I'm knocking stuff over.
What you're going to do is you're going to come to our homepage, okay? LastChanceTackle.com, our homepage, all that good stuff. If you want to get into our fishing trips, our charter trips, what you're going to do is you're going to click on fishing events, okay? You're going to see classes, events, all that type of stuff. Something I like, click on switch to list view. Bam. Click on that guy. These are all of our trips. This is what's going on right now. July 17th, August 2nd, August 7th. I believe these trips are almost booked up. These trips for sure. This one might have a couple spots left over. So what you're going to do is you want to know about the trip. You click overnight. There it is. Everything. Tuesday, you leave. Come back. Overnight, we take 15 people max. $290 if you have your Mexican license. If not, the trip is $305. That's everything included. That's even a meal plan with dinner coming back home. All you need is your passport, tip money, beer money, and fish fillet. That's it. You go on these trips, $305 overnight, Extreme limited load, which makes it super comfy. You're not standing on the bow like this with 15 other guys with all the high-end gear that don't know how to cast. It's going to be a phenomenal trip. I absolutely love the boat. Sleeping accommodations are nice. Food's always been good. And like I said, you're getting dinner on the way back in, which is awesome. Awesome. So by all means, fishing events, click on, I'll go back, switch to list view, or you can sit there and go through, and we have a bunch of different little guys. If you click month by month, it'll show you our trips, our monthly schedules. And you just keep clicking, overnight saltwater, searcher 3-day, overnight saltwater. So if you want to go that route and actually look at the dates and physically see when you're going to go, get back to it. So you go to fishing events, either switch to list view to see all of our trips, or you just click month by month to see our trips. The Searcher 3-day, Megan, I believe, is going to be doing this trip, which once you click onto that, it's actually going to get you to the Searcher Sport Fishing page. You're going to have to do this all through this page. This is one that you don't deal through us. We're helping sponsor this trip, so you're going to have to book now everything through this site. Which, another thing, if you have any questions or any problems trying to go with this, you can give us a call at the shop, 951-658-7410. More than happy to tell you how to go on the site, how to go through and look, or what number to call, anything else like that. Megan's going to be on that trip. It's going to be an extremely fun trip. She flat out can catch fish. It is absolutely awesome. So by all means, cruise in, check us out. You guys got any trips coming up? You guys need any knots tied, any hooks, weights, any irons, sticks, any of that type of stuff? Keep us in mind. We're not just a local freshwater shop. We do a lot of saltwater, We have a lot of big-time clientele that come in on 15-day trips. Matt is phenomenal and definitely well known for tying these guys up on 15-day trips. I mean, he's shown me knots and connections I've never even seen before. And that's the cool thing with working here is now we get all this coming in, we can show you guys. We can show you the Tony Peñas. We can show you a Bimini twist. We can show you advanced Albrights. We can show you a double uni knot. We can show you the Bob Sands. I mean, the Royal Polaris. Whatever knot you guys are got wrapped in your head, by all means, cruise in the shop. Give us a call. We'll go over knots with you. We'll tie your setups. We'll show you how to do it. We'll recommend irons. We'll recommend rods, all that good stuff. Everything to help you guys go out and catch fish. Like I said, this was just going to be an entry one into saltwater. Not technique specific, just show you guys a wide variety of what we carry here in the shop. If Megan will turn, I mean, tons of saltwater, CalStar, Seeker, I mean, Phoenix, Daiwa. We carry a lot of rods, a lot of different wide varieties of stuff. Flat falls, all of our trolling stuff and everything else. This was one just to let you guys know and give you a heads up that, hey, we're more than just a freshwater shop. So if you got any questions, you guys feeling froggy, you want to get salty, you want to go fish for something that's going to actually tug, by all means, cruise in the shop will set you up. Megan's here, extremely knowledgeable. Matt, extremely knowledgeable. I'm just getting into it, so it's just one that I'm trying to learn as much as I can, do as much as I can. I'm freaking out over this. So by all means, please give us a call, 951-658-7410, or cruise in the shop. We'll set you guys up. We'll set you up with a combo. We'll set you up with some baits. Bay, harbor, offshore, it doesn't matter. We'll set you up. Really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Hopefully we can get some comments and some questions going for later Periscopes and elaborate on a bunch of little techniques. But for now, really appreciate you guys tuning in, and thank you very much.